Hi, I am Nora. Welcome to Nora Jane Fit. Today I'm going to do a video discussing the top 10 ways to remain healthy during and after lockdown. It's a topic that a lot of us are talking about now with the restrictions that we have around going out and access to food. And I know that there are always ways of being innovative and coming up with simple hacks to help you improve your health, not just physically, but mentally as well. So my first tip would be to create a sanctuary in your home. And to do that, it starts with decluttering. So, what I tend to do is when I feel really stressed out or anxious or like everything is becoming too much or I can't think clearly, I get my garbage bags out and I declutter my entire house. And I usually put like some meditation music on or like some prayer music on. I'm Christian, so I'll put like some piano based instrumental gospel music on. I like that, worship music. Or if I'm like more in a meditative state, I put some meditation on, and I burn like my white sage or my Palo Santo sticks, some incense, some chemical free incense. And I open the windows, I get my essential oils out, and I go through every every shelf, every cupboard, every drawer, every room, everything until I feel like the dense energy has lifted. And that works really well. I do the entire house, kitchen, everything, and I get all of that dead energy shifted. And usually after I'm like physically and mentally exhausted, but my space feels good. From that place of decluttering, let's talk about the kitchen. So you go into your kitchen and you've decluttered all of your cupboards, all of your drawers, your fridge, etc. You'll be able to see certain patterns. You'll be able to see if you're stocking up on a lot of foods that are not serving your highest good. If you're having lots of junk, lots of alcohol, or even if you're overspending, like I was buying lots of spices that I have in my cupboards that I don't even use. So it's helping you to identify patterns. And then from there, let's look at your kitchen because we're talking about health, for example, right? In your kitchen, if you're finding that you have a lot of foods that don't serve you, donate, get rid of, remove it out of the home. And then from there, from the foods that you have, create a meal plan from the items that you have so that you're not struggling to put together food when you're hungry. So, like at lunchtime, you go into the kitchen and you're like, oh my God, what am I going to eat? And you end up choosing things that are not in your best interest or preparing it in a way that doesn't keep the nutrient content as dense as it could be. So having a meal plan sort of eradicates all of that. If you've what's it, the saying is, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So really having a set idea of what you have available to you and what you'll make from that is super important. Now, following that, we're going to look at making the food you have as healthy as possible. So, fermenting foods increases the nutrient content of your food. It also increases the bacteria, the good bacteria that's found in the foods. And the good gut bacteria is amazing for your immune system. Where I think it's like 60 to 75% of your immune system is found in the gut. So fermenting foods will help to increase that good gut bacteria. We're now finding that a lot of diseases, ailments, and illnesses are linked to having a poor gut bacteria. So your microbiome, or the colony of bacteria that resides within the gut, don't support good health, so they're not the good bacteria, and that links to a lot of diseases, chronic pain, stress, etc. So that's really important, fermenting foods. And it's not hard to do that. You can get carrots for like 20-30p a bag. You can get cabbage, broccoli. You can ferment anything, and you can start with either salt, brine, so you're doing sort of like a pickle, or you can look at doing more adventurous things like water kefir grains. There are loads of groups on Facebook where people have the grains that grow in excess and they give them away. Or you can do milk kefir, but I would recommend non-dairy, so coconut kefir or almond milk kefir or hemp milk kefir, anything that's not cow. And you ferment those grains. Or you can have things like kombucha, which is it's a Scooby. It's super expensive in the shops compared to like how cheap you can make it at home. You can have things like miso paste to make miso soup, but you want to make sure it's non-GMO. You can have tempeh. You can have yogurt, those are great fermented sources of food. Olives are good as well. So fermenting your foods and having some, and I didn't say kimchi. Kimchi is fantastic, and sauerkraut. Having a little bit of fermented foods on and with each meal is going to be really important in helping you to maintain good gut bacteria. You also want to make sure that whilst increasing your fermented foods, you're decreasing the sugar content. So you're decreasing the refined sugars like the jams, the cakes, the biscuits, etc. So you allow the good bacteria to have a chance to thrive, because what happens sometimes is in the body, the colonies of bacteria are quite resilient. So you need to make sure that when you're introducing different types of bacteria, good bacteria into the gut, you're allowing it and you're giving it the best possibility of striving and thriving and embedding themselves within your gut, and that will happen by eating fermented foods as well. This also helps with weight loss, increasing, helping to improve digestion, um, and increasing your immunity. So fermented foods are fantastic for that. In terms of how you prepare your foods, we're looking at lightly steaming your foods or eating them raw. Avoiding the use of microwaves or deep frying, because we want to make sure that, again, you're keeping the nutrient content of your food as dense as possible. Microwaving zaps all of the, I haven't used one in like over 15 years, except maybe a few times at work, when I really couldn't eat that food cold. Microwaves are radiation. It's really not good for your food. So you need to make sure that you're avoiding that. Freezing your food and then reheating it on the stove is a good way. Yes, it will take a little bit of time, a little bit more time to prepare your food from cold. But again, if you've meal planned and you've prepped and you've organized your day, then that just becomes part of your lifestyle. So this looks at organization. So lightly steaming and avoiding the use of microwaves, and cooking your food on a low heat is super important to make sure that your food retains its nutrient density. Also, slow cookers are really good. I love them. You can make delicious things with odds and ends and vegetables, like nice stews cooked in coconut milk and turmeric or curry powder, tomato sauce. Make delicious stews with your slow cooker. And another thing that we're going to talk about on that one is choosing non-stick materials to cook your food with. So a lot of the time you'll find that there are cookware that are non-stick. So the chemicals that are used in those pots and pans, etc., have been linked to illnesses. So it's better to just use cast iron, for example, and cookware or stainless steel that's not non-stick. So you're not absorbing those toxins into the body. Second tip is choosing organic. I am a huge fan of this, and a lot of people go, well, oh, I don't really know if it's not organic. They put it in the label, but it could just be regular produce, unless you're growing it yourself or you go to a farm and you know it's guaranteed organic. And I fully take that on board. But when you look at buying non-organic produce, for the people who think, oh, there's no difference, there are the pesticides, the fertilizers, the fungicides, everything that they use to prevent weeds and animals from killing the crop that you then eat, and your body has to detox from that. Whereas organic foods, and look for unwaxed as well, I have to say, because the wax will block the uptake of nutrients. The organic foods don't have any of that, or significantly lower levels of that. So you're giving your body less work to do. There's less hormonal disruption going on there when you're bringing in all of these pesticides, etc. So that's a huge one for me. And when you go organic, you'll find that a lot of the times you're going to start to taste the difference with the food that you eat that is not organic compared to the foods that are organic. And yes, it's a little bit more expensive, but you can look up the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen, which tells you the foods that you should have organic and the foods that you shouldn't have organic as a starting point. My other tip is going to be stock up on fresh produce. Now, this is a difficult one at times, because sometimes, depending on where you live, you might not have access to that. I would go into the grocery store and be very surprised that all the flour, sugar, eggs, rice, pasta would be out of stock, but like the fruits and vegetables, loads of it. And this is what helps to build the immune system. So having raw, fresh produce where you have live enzymes, good bacteria for the gut, vitamins, minerals, etc., good fiber, right, are in raw produce. So you want to be stocking up on lots of it. If you've got a small fridge like I have, you've got to get creative with how you're cooking. So I went to the grocery store yesterday. Most of my stuff was fruits and vegetables. You can make jams using just either honey or a very little bit of sugar. Control the sugar that you're having in there. You can make stews, smoothies, lollies, fresh juices. You can make, if you have a dehydrator, you can make fruit rolls, dried fruit. You can ferment them. You have to get creative in terms of how you're bringing that fresh produce into your diet every day, because this is what is going to serve you, and this is what's going to help to keep you energetic, vibrant. It reduces stress, maintains weight, keeps your blood sugar levels low, and the list goes on. This is how we were meant to eat. So staying away from foods that are processed, that are dead, that are not living, and going to high energy, electric, vibrant, living foods is what we really need to be going for. And again, this supports with digestion. So I didn't mention freezing or soups or broths. You can also do that. I'm reading off some notes because I have so much here that I don't want to forget. And then you can also choose produce that lasts longer, like potatoes, root vegetables, turnips, squash, pumpkin, plantain. I love plantain. And then you can make those into stews or soups, and then freeze the soups and then have that. And that really works really well. Another thing that I like with the fresh produce is beans, like lentil peas, lentil peas, I say lentil peas, not lentil beans, lentils, right? Or chickpeas, mung beans, adzuki beans. You can take that dried whole grain, that dried bean, and you can make that into a living food. You can make that into a sprout, and sprouts are very, very high in micronutrients, which are vitamins and enzymes that our bodies digest beautifully. So you soak the bean. I tend to soak mine overnight. And then you can put it on like a sprouting tray, water it every day, make sure that you're washing them through so there's no mold developing on them. And within a couple of days, they start to sprout. You pop that on a salad, sprinkle some lime lemon juice and some Himalayan pink salt on that, and then it's done and it's delicious. So that's a really simple way to stock up on beans and peas. Sprout them, you've got a fresh salad. Nuts, so almonds, for example, hemp seeds, oat groats. You can make flax seeds, you can make delicious milks from those. So you soak it overnight again to get rid of the phytic acid, which is the anti-nutrient barrier that you will find on this, which can sort of, if it's like quinoa, there's a chemical sapacin that's on there. It can cause disruptions with the tummy. You can have like digestion issues from that. So, and it takes longer for the food to cook. And there's a difference with the taste. So if you are soaking your nuts and then you can dehydrate them for use later, you can blend them with water and make milks, fresh milks, delicious milks. And then from the pulp of those nuts and seeds, you can then make flours, and you can make biscuits and cookies and things like that. So that's a really important one that I wanted to talk about, using peas and beans and nuts and seeds to make milks and to make fresh salads, which we usually don't talk about. And if you're doing milk kefir, for example, you have your almonds, you soak them, you make some almond milk. You can ferment the almond milk. There you've got a probiotic there. And then from the residue of the almonds, you can make flour. You've got your almond flour, something that's, not refined wheat. So that's amazing. My other tip was exploring foods from different countries, and within your own country, different foods from your country. So for example, I'm in England. I do not like mushrooms. I don't really like eggplant. And I ordered a vegetable box, and I don't eat rhubarb, for example, right? That's not something that we have in Trinidad. So I ordered a vegetable box, and those three came in. And thank God for my partner. He's an amazing cook. Took me through how to make a delicious stew from the mushrooms and the eggplant, right? And we ate that with yam. And it was so nice. And I'm thinking, oh my God, mushrooms, high vitamin D. This is great for my mood, my energy states, etc. And I'm getting all the different colors into my diet, a diverse array of fruits and vegetables. I made rhubarb and vanilla kefir, water kefir. It's delicious. So try things that you wouldn't usually try. Experiment with foods. And then when I shop in the Indian shops as well, I get like things like bitter gourd, which I would never try because there's no point in me trying it really if I have access to all the foods that I usually have access to. But thank God that we're in a situation where we could, branch out a little bit. People talk about supplements. Do we need supplements? Well, yes, if we're not having a very diverse diet, absolutely, because there will be micronutrients and minerals that we are missing out on. So it's really good to try a couple of different things per week and see what you like. If you don't like something, genuinely don't like it, then that's fine, leave it out. But if you can try something that is healthy, and you can turn that into something delicious, and it's something that you haven't had in your diet before, add it in. It only serves your highest good. And that's from foods within your country and other cultures as well. The next thing is mindful and intuitive eating. So children do this really well. They know what they want to eat. They know how much they want to eat. They know when they want to eat. But we unlearn that. Go back to that. If you're not hungry, don't eat. This includes breakfast, breaking your fast. Food is energy. Energy is used for us to do work. If your body is not needing that energy, then you do not need to add more, because that's when we have things with weight gain and weight management issues. So going back to, am I hungry? No, don't eat. Am I hungry? Yes. Are you stressed? Are you feeling anxious? Are you feeling angry? Feeling happy or sad? What are you choosing? And being mindful around how you feel when you eat will help you to sort of observe the foods that you choose to eat. So if you're stressed and you're choosing, like, potato chips, crisp, sweets and chocolates, then that's a really good place to say, okay, hang on a minute, I need to stop suppressing emotions with food and address my emotional state so that I'm making healthier choices. Tuning into your body. Am I full when I'm eating? Yes. Okay, so I can stop now, even if I've left some food back on my plate. Do I really like this food? No. Okay, I won't have it again. Does this food make me feel sick? Do I have any reactions to this food? Am I getting bloated? Am I getting fatty? Am I having loose bowels? Yes. Okay, that's something that I eliminate from the diet. Tuning into the smell, the taste, the touch, the texture, the sound of the food, all part of mindful eating. It makes us slow down. It makes us, chew the food properly. So we are breaking it down properly before we start. Well, digestion begins in the mouth, but before we swallow it, giving the body a little bit less work to do, making sure that we're absorbing all the nutrients from that food. Super important. And there's a lot about mindful eating and intuitive eating. But the key things from there for me are tuning into how you're feeling, because how you feel will dictate how mindful and intuitive you are. If you're feeling crap or rubbish, stressed, angry or something, that's not the time to eat. That's the time to go for a walk, have a cry, talk to somebody, whatever you do to deal with your emotions, that is the time to address it there. From that place, after we've dealt with the emotions, then you can start to look at eating, because you're in a stable, calm, relaxed manner. And now you can start to tune in to how your body is responding to the food, and you can stop and honor your body when it has said, okay, hey, I've had enough. So that's another tip. Then we spoke about creating a sacred space. So that ties into the first tip that I gave with decluttering your home. Your home is your haven. It is where you reside. If your home feels like hell, then I don't believe that you can function well. Even if it is one corner or one time of the day that you can carve some time out to go and create like a little ritual. This is where I breathe. This is where I have my meditation. This is where I pray. This is where I cleanse emotionally. Make that your sacred space. Get a nice mat, get a nice beeswax or soy candle or some chemical-free incense. Chemical-free incense, Queen of the Nile, I love them. She's amazing. I love her incense. A journal, and do your thing. And sit there and do what you need to do to get emotionally balanced. We exercise every day. We eat every day. Do we cleanse emotionally every day? Do we address all of the rubbish that we expose ourselves to, all of the energy that we expose ourselves to every day? Do we do that? Pray is super important. Connecting to God, to your higher source, is super, super important. We need to get grounded like that. So create that higher space. Bring nature into it. If you want to go outside and get grounded by having your feet on the earth, that's a different tip. I'll stop now because I'll give you another tip. I'll talk about that more later in my other tip. But creating your sacred space at home. Start with your decluttering. Add in beautiful bits. At a time that you will do your meditation or your prayer or your quiet time, and do that every day. And I guarantee you will feel so, so amazing, and everything around health is going to flow, because you have your emotional basis and your emotional foundation rock solid. My next tip is grounding. So when we ground to the earth, there is an exchange of electrons. It balances out the positive and negative electrons. So your body comes to, it becomes more balanced. There's a science behind it. But we are people of the earth. We are meant to connect to the earth. We are meant to be barefoot. But shoes remove that connection. So go outside first thing in the morning or last thing in the evening. Barefoot. Connect your foot to soil, to grass, to damp earth, something with water. Right? Like maybe if you're by a beach or by a river. Amazing. Stand there, breathe, allow yourself to soak into the earth. And Suki was saying how she feels the energy of the trees, and she asked permission to touch the tree, because the tree is an energetic being as well. You just tune into that. Tree hugging. People think, oh my God, that's crazy. It feels so good. Bird watching, being out in nature. Ground yourself back to earth, back to where you came from, and allow yourself to just be. human being. Allow yourself to just be. It is so beautiful. So just grounding every day is super important. If you don't have a garden, go into a park, take your shoes off, lie in a blanket, sit with your back against a tree. Connect your skin to it if you can. And just be. It's such a beautiful thing. And then in that, you want to make sure you're getting exposure to sun. Vitamin D is super important in mood states, amongst a host of other things. So having 20 minutes of total body exposure to the sun every day is important. Now, I don't wear sunscreen. Some people do. Choose a time that's sensible for you so you don't burn. And let your skin soak up that sun. It's what our bodies need, right? At this time. We also need to have vitamin D from food sources. So oily fish, for example, mackerel, salmon, tuna. Those are really good sources of vitamin D. Egg yolks, shiitake mushrooms, fortified breakfast cereals, and milk. Although I would recommend that you're not having that as much, because with the fortified cereals and milk, unless it's not dairy, and unless it's something that's like organic sprouted cereal with no sugar, no nothing in it, then you should be avoiding that and just maybe getting some more sun. And then just starting up with your grounding. It will help to improve your sleep, reduce stress levels. It will help you to feel balanced, happy, calm. And it helps to boost your immunity. So that's really good reasons to connect to Mother Nature. And finally, my last tip, emotional cleaning. So every day we have a shower, brush our teeth, go to the bathroom, eat food, talk to people. Every day, are we cleaning those emotions? I touched on this a little bit. Some people know. We want to make sure that we're getting into a practice within the sacred space of attuning to how we're feeling and addressing that, whilst also reducing what we're letting in. So a lot of people think, oh, lockdown is a great time to connect with people. Lockdown is also a great time to keep yourself away from people who are energetically draining to you. This is a great time to restore your energetic balance and to restore your emotional state. So reducing news, maybe unfollowing things on social media, anything that just makes you feel like heavy or upset, or unfollow, block, delete, move on. And that includes people. I'm really a strong believer in that people have their time. And if somebody doesn't serve you, then there is no need to let it to hang on to that, because it just takes away from you so much, and there's so much that you're here to do. So why hold on to baggage and extras that don't serve and uplift you? This is a time to start looking into healing therapies. There's things like Reiki, Theta, transformational breath, different types of meditation, emotional freedom technique. All of these healing therapies can help us to physically release all of the emotions that are stored cellularly within the body. Yeah. And that's going to help you to cleanse. And you can follow along to YouTube videos with somebody who you like. And learn to love yourself, because all of the tips that I've given, without self-love, none of this is going to happen. If you can't look at yourself and say, I love you, I really love and appreciate you, you're awesome. If you can't do that and say that to yourself without actually meaning it, I feel like there's a lot of work to do, because without that self-love, there's no self-respect, self-worth, as though we're not going to adhere to making any changes that support our highest good. And that's with food, that's with exercise, that's with choices of things that we're doing for our lives. We have to start with self-love. That is the key thing there. That's the key of everything I said. Self-love is the most important thing. Look in the mirror, look into your eyes until you feel comfortable looking at yourself, like deep into your eyes, and then just say, I love you, and keep saying it. I do it, and I love doing it because I feel great. Like, sometimes you want people to say that they love us. Love yourself first. Say you love yourself first. Give it to yourself before you expect it from somebody else. And oh my God, like, that is so freeing. It's so freeing. And it's such a beautiful thing to do. And I mean, self-love, I was talking to my cousin about it today. Self-love is something that's a continual journey. We grow, we change, and as we grow and change, we have to learn how to love those different parts of ourselves. But it's possible, and we should do it, have to do it, we need to do it. So self-love is the most important thing. Carve time out for yourself. If you're a mom, especially maybe a mom on your own, that's even more important. And I speak from experience currently, because it is difficult having time to completely be on your own and to switch off, which is why creating a sacred space is important, which is why having that time to breathe and emotionally cleanse is important, because without that, you're not going to serve your children well. You're not going to serve your loved one well. loved ones well. So even if that means waking up a little bit early in the morning to have that time alone, do it. You feeling me? Like this morning I was so tired. I was so tired, but I had 2 lives. I needed to do a bit of reading. I needed to just be by myself for a little bit. And I'm so grateful I did that, because it set me up for a good day. I feel great. I'm tired as hell, but like I still feel good. I still feel like, okay, Lenore, I did something for me. And the self-care comes into that. So like when I was getting ready, I put like a mask on my face. I did some coconut oil pulling. I tidied up. And then later on today, I might soak my feet. I might do a steam. You know, different little things that you can do in your day to help support you. Doesn't take long. Doesn't have to be expensive. But guess what? You're taking care of you, because you are supposed to take care of you, nobody else. So those are my tips for coming out of lockdown healthy. Yes, there's food in there. We didn't talk about exercise, but that goes without saying. Everyday move. There's so many companies doing like, I won't call any names, but they're like loads of companies doing, you know, free lives on Facebook. Not Facebook. Yeah, Facebook, but Instagram live every day. There is no excuse for anybody, unless there's like a chronic illness or a medical condition or genetic condition, to leave lockdown overweight. Like there is just no excuse. Like I would find it very difficult to sympathize with somebody who's been home all day with all this access to all this value and free stuff to not utilize. There's something for everybody, whether it's yoga, Pilates, HIIT, strength training. There is something for everybody out there, and there's a lot of free stuff. So find something, find somebody who resonates with you. Commit to 3 to 4, 5 times ideally a week. 30 to 60 minutes. You need to sweat. You need to stretch. You need to sweat every day. Yes, it helps you to release the toxins, but you need to get to a place where your heart rate is elevated. A gentle sweat. It's moderate to intense exercise, and then there could be a couple of days where you just do gentle exercise, stretching, a nice flow, nothing too difficult. But that's coupled with days where you are doing more moderate, intense exercise. So where your heart rate goes up, you're breathing a little bit heavier, you can't really hold a conversation, and you are feeling like you're working hard. Yeah. So that is it for today. I'm not going to leave anymore because I want to go play with Vivi for a little bit. But I wanted to leave this video for you guys because it's, you know, we did the video was 2 hours. We did, no, an hour and a half, and we just lost the whole thing. And I was like, no, I need to put this content back out there. So I hope this has helped. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. This is sort of the start of what you can do to remain or to stay healthy. Oh, I left out one tip. I'll quickly do it. Boost your immune system. I knew I left something out. So that's a really important one. So I'm just going to quickly run through some herbs that you can use. I knew there was one I left off to boost your immune system. So you can add things like vitamin C. You can make your own vitamin C powder from organic unwaxed lemon and lime and orange peels. Dry them and ground them up. You can add your probiotics there. That helps the immune system. You can have things like herbs that reduce stress, tulsi, ashwagandha, astragalus. You can add things like a B vitamin complex, your vitamin D, your ginger, your turmeric root, your garlic, your onions, your cayenne pepper are really good for helping to improve the immune system as well. Making sure you're sleeping a lot. So if you need to have naps in the day, please do that. Making sure you're reducing stress and you're exercising. You can also add things like bee pollen, vitamin C with zinc. You can add things like colloidal silver. That's super important for the immune system. Berries like elderberries are great. Raw honey, echinacea, olive leaf extract, turmeric with vitamin D. I said that already, is great. Green tea or green tea extract is amazing. Mushroom complex is fantastic for boosting the immune system as well. Getting the support of a homeopath or a naturopathic doctor will be great, because, or herbalist, they will give you little concoctions, I like to call, that will support you depending on your biological profile. So immune system was one I left out. So now I've given you everything, and I hope you've liked it. I hope it's been helpful. You can find me here, obviously, or on Nora Jane Fit 1 on Instagram, or Nora Jane Fit on Facebook. I'm running a free gym platform on Zoom where we talk about everything health, fitness, nutrition, emotions, spiritual, law of attraction, all of that good stuff. So if you want to join, just send me a message and I will add you. It's currently all free good stuff. So that's it for me. I am out, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Have a lovely rest of your day wherever you are, and I will touch base with you guys soon. All right, ciao.